What makes truly great clarinet music? Hard work, knowledge, soul, attention to detail, and a little bit of talent. King of swing professional clarinet Benny Goodman has all of these traits. You're hearing his works in the background. However, Goodman wasn't always a master musician. Like every artist, he had to learn the basics first. To become a quality clarinet player, one must learn the functions of its parts, how to use those parts to create sound, and to practice to create skill. To begin, it's important to learn every part of the clarinet so that your instrument is maintained to its best shape for your playing. First of all, the first piece is the mouthpiece. Unlike the mouthpiece of a brass instrument, which is pressed up to the lips like this, or a flute which touches the lips, this is shaped to fit inside the mouth. Also, it has a hole to allow air movement, and it's non-porous, it's too clean, it's always in contact with saliva, and it has condensation from hot air that goes into it. So it's always very important to clean it often. A subtle but important feature of the mouthpiece is the arch. So you can look very close. The very tip of it is rounded. That's the arch of it. Some of them are more straight rather than curved. Beginners shouldn't worry about this part of the mouthpiece, but if you're looking for a new mouthpiece, look for one with a similar arch. It'll be easier for you to play because it's a similar mouthpiece. Moving on, we have the reed. It's a thin piece of material that fits right onto the mouthpiece. See, like that. You are not going to be happy with a broken one. It has very poor quality sound, and you might get some squeaks in there, and we don't like that at all, and neither will anyone who is around you. So we have this reed that's made out of cane. Most of them are made out of cane. It's a bamboo-like grass, and it is like a wood kind of material. This does break very easily, so you want to be very careful with it. However, there are plastic reeds available. They're more durable, but they have a lower quality sound. You might want to use a plastic reed on a marching band field or anywhere where you might think it might get chipped very easily. Alright, so all reeds have different thicknesses. There are thicknesses 1 through 5, 1 being the thinnest, 5 being the thickest. I began on a 2.5. I play a 4 now. So if I take a break, I will want to go down to maybe a 3.5 because my mouth won't be feeling up to it. So just use the mouthpiece that you'll get the most sound out of, best sound for you. So everybody is different, everybody uses different thickness. Just do what's best for you. Alright, and we have also different brands. This is a Mitchell-Lurie. We have other popular brands such as Rico and Van Duren. My old clarinet teacher used to always tell me every mouth is different, so pick a reed brand and size that's right for you. Alright, also another important thing about your clarinet reed is that you can customize it. You don't have to always take the reed quality as it is right out of the box and begin playing like that. You can also have the option of shaving the top of it with a special instrument you can buy with any music store or online, and you can also shave it to make it a little thinner to your liking, like in between size kind of thickness, but that's not a very popular way of doing it. Usually people just use it straight out of the box. Also, we have the ligature. This takes the mouthpiece and the reed, and it'll combine them together. Alright, so we have different kinds of ligatures. Mine is made of a plastic-like material, and it's more of rubber material. Most of them are metal. This one's a little bit more expensive kind, so shop around, and there are many very subtle features to them that may benefit each player to just so they can have it just how they like it. Moving on, we have the barrel. The barrel can be used to tune the clarinet. It fits right on the mouthpiece like this. When we have the rest of the clarinet, we just twist it on, always twisting on. And if we need the sound to be a little higher, we'll push all the way in. If we need it to be a little lower, we'll have it stick out a little bit. And we'll just customize it up or down to fit how we need to tune. The next part is the body. We've got the upper body and the lower body. This is where all of the keys are. This is where all of the holes are. Almost all of the holes. This is where all the handiwork comes in. The hands don't touch any other part of the clarinet when you're playing it. So we'll get more onto how to play this later. And lastly, we have the barrel. This is responsible for making the clarinet just long enough so that we can play our lower notes. Okay? So in review, we have our mouthpiece with our reed on top of that, and our ligature holding it together, our barrel underneath that, our upper body, and our lower body, and lastly the bell. Now we're going to make some sound out of our instrument. First thing you want to do with your instrument is moisten your reed even before you assemble it. I remember I was playing a solo in a local band, and I was not able to play my solo in front of my peers during the rehearsal. I was very excited to show off my solo, but dry reeds don't vibrate very well, so it's important to take your time when moistening your reed and when you're resting. Like I was resting during when my peers were playing, and I let it dry out too much. So once it's moist, we gotta keep the reed moist. For timing purposes, I'm not going to keep moistening my reed for very long. We're just gonna put it right on. Make sure everything is lined up. Alright, moisten the reed a little bit even more when you put it on. And we can go on to blowing. So it's important that we do it right, just like a trumpet, but it's not like a trumpet, but we want to do it right the first time. Then it'll be simple. It'll be like riding bikes. We won't have to learn it again because it's so simple, but it's important to be able to do it right. So we're going to insert it in our mouth first. After that, we're going to blow like a bubble. So we're going to go, ooh, like we're going to blow a bubble. And then, so we're applying pressure on the mouthpiece when we go, ooh, and then we just push the air out. When we push the air out, we're going to want to have that air go straight down the barrel and through the body all the way down to the bell. Okay? So try to aim straight towards the bell. Alright? So, like we're blowing a bubble. You don't have to hold any notes, any keys down when we're doing this. Just blow. And you're already playing a note. It's the G. If you can't get it right away, there may be different problems. Your reed might be too hard. Your mouthpiece may just not be right for your mouth. There are a lot of different things, but it's important to keep on going after you fail, because I know that you'll succeed in the end. Alright, after we blow into the horn a little bit, after we learn how to blow, we're going to warm up. When we warm up, we're literally warming the clarinet, raising the temperature inside of the clarinet, getting all the keys ready to go and moving so that they're ready to be played. Also, you're warming yourself up. You're getting your head in the zone to play the clarinet. So you're warming your clarinet up and you're warming yourself up. Alright, when I warm up, I do a scale, something simple, just to get the air going, just to get your fingers moving. It doesn't have to be impressive or beautiful. Just get it started. Don't be afraid to make some noise. Lastly, we have fingering. Alright, we have all of these keys and we have all these fingers that are responsible. So our left hand is responsible for the upper body. We've got these 3 fingers here for these 3 holes here. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Index finger is responsible for the keys above also. So presses down here and also over. As long as the key is pressed down completely, you don't have to bring your finger all the way over here to play this. You can just slide it over here, just kind of angle it a little bit, and the key is pressed down completely, and that works just fine. Alright, so these 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3, index finger is responsible for these. Then, our pinky finger is also responsible for a lot. They have all these 4 keys right here. And you can't be looking at these when you're fingering them, so it's all going to have to be muscle memory. Yeah, I'm not looking at these keys when I'm doing this, but it's easy for me because I play so often. So upper body, 1, 2, 3. Index finger is responsible for these. Pinky's job are these 4 keys right here. Alright, lower body, right hand. These 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3. This little guy right here, or ring finger on the other hand, it's got responsibility for this little banana key right here. Alright? And Also, our index finger is responsible for these 4 keys right here. And this pinky is responsible for these 4 keys right here. And now it must be crazy to think, wow, what if I have to push this down and then my finger also has to be here, I'll be stretching my hand out. But it never has to be like that. The design of the clarinet is pretty helpful. A lot of the keys have been added very recently just to allow us to create these pitches easier than having to play strange fingerings like this in the olden times when some of these keys weren't here. Alright, so lastly we have tonguing. We use tongue on attacks. Attack means that we're starting a pitch. So usually it means at the very beginning of the song. We have different types of attacks that we use our tongue with. We have a T sound attack. We'll make a T motion with our mouth, or with our tongue in our mouth on the tip of the mouthpiece. We're going to want to aim for the tip of the reed, and what's going to happen is just like we go ta ta ta, our tongue makes the T sound and it releases. It hits the top of the mouth and it releases. It doesn't stay on the roof of the mouth. Just like we're going to attack with the T sound here, it's going to go ta 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 ta. Alright, so let's do that. Alright. The D sound of the clarinet is a little more soft of an attack. It is a little bit subtle, so you may not hear it over the video, but it does provide good use in softer songs that have less energy, songs that are slower. So we'll want to use the D sound tongue there. So also we have an air attack, which means we're not using our tongue at all, and it is even more subtle, soft, and not as harsh of an attack. And that will also be used more to create a softer effect. Alright, so the T attack is when we make a T sound, but with our tongue we'll hit and release when we play. The D sound is when we'll make a D motion with our tongue on the clarinet. Da, da, da. It's a softer attack. And an air attack is where we don't use a tongue at all. We'll just make the sound. We'll add more air to it. So T sound, a D sound, and an air attack. So, in review, when we blow into the clarinet, we'll go ooh, like we're blowing a bubble. We'll warm yourself up and warm your instrument up. We use our fingers to create different pitches and use our tongue to create different style of attacks. After we learn how the clarinet functions, how we can create some noise on the instrument, we're going to want to hone our skills. We need to practice. We can practice scales. This will help us practice even note length, key signatures. Also, we have practice exercises. We can get practice books from a music store. This will help us practice reading music, playing increasingly difficult technical passages. Also, we have different pieces. Just try to find different pieces that interest you, or find a local group to play in, and this will allow us to have fun with our art. It'll help us create beautiful art and maybe even challenge us more than we would if we weren't. Alright? And it's not always going to be fun. You're going to need to practice and put in hard work. You might have to repeat things over and over again. You might be sitting down for very long periods practicing by yourself or rehearsing with other people. You might face challenges. At first, when I started playing the clarinet, I couldn't make a noise out of it. And I'm thinking back and wonder if my reed was too hard or if I didn't moisten it, and that's what I believe. But when I had that challenge, I was thinking, wow, maybe I can't play this. But my teacher and my mother believed in me. You don't need a natural talent. If you believe that you can do it and you put in the effort, you will be able to play. And I believe in you. To really hone your skills, practice scales, exercises, and different pieces. Persevere through the challenges you may face. In conclusion, to begin playing the clarinet, it is important to know the parts of the clarinet, master how those parts function, and practice making music with it. Don't be afraid to make some noise. Have fun with it. If you put in the effort, how many people can you inspire with your music? Who is to say, after so much practice, you can't join the ranks of Benny Goodman as musical royalty? You could be the king or queen of clarinet.